Hi everyone, Gianni DePoci here with you for Theo Trade, and today is Tuesday, the 13th of May, 2025, and the stock market continues to rip higher to the upside, leaving bears in a pinch and many caught without knowing what to do. So, how do we proceed from here? Well, first and foremost, we have been talking an awful lot about this high from the 25th of March. And in both the NASDAQ 100 futures and the S&P 500 futures, we blew past that yesterday. I have to say, gapping up on a Monday and closing near the highs of the day with additional follow through on Tuesdays is nothing short of bearish. And here's where it gets better. We are seeing leadership come from all the right sectors in this market. And we've been talking about that quite a bit. There are certain sectors that outperform at certain phases of the market cycle. And so, by that logic, coming out of this low from the 7th of April, we would be looking for growth oriented sectors to outperform to the upside. And that's exactly what we've seen. Last week, the top performing sector was industrials. And while that's not leading on the week so far, on the monthly basis over the last 4 weeks, we have seen technology outperform to the upside. And today, take a look at XLK, up more than the S&P 500 by a wide margin. And just wait, it gets even better because we're seeing semiconductors outperform the S&P and the tech sector by a wider margin. I cannot stress enough how big this is, especially when one considers the leading nature of the tech sector and semiconductors specifically. Keep in mind that semiconductors hit their all-time high back in July. Markets went on to make new all-time highs 7 months later in February. But this leading sector did not confirm that rally. It corrected about 40% from its all-time high in July, and now it's outperforming to the upside. This is exactly what we want to see. So, I have been cautiously optimistic. I've been trading on the long side of this market, mostly long, ever since we had this secondary higher low. I mean, I nibbled long when we had the this big update here. I didn't buy the exact low, to be clear. Didn't need to though. But ever since we had the secondary higher low, I've been adding to longs. Now that we've taken out this high from the 25th of March, there is little to no reason from a technical standpoint, from a simple trend following standpoint where we look for higher highs and higher lows to be bearish. There is none. There is none. And that's not a very popular opinion to have right now, but that's okay. We're not doing this to be popular, guys. We're doing this to make money. So we're seeing leadership come from the right places. You have stocks like NVIDIA up almost 6% on the day. A lot of the Magnificent Seven names are ripping to the upside as well. Apple having a day as well. Tesla up about 5%. This is a $1 million challenge, and Trinity Trade holding. Even in the live room, the setup was so good, I shared it with everyone, and I had to take some myself. This is a really good looking setup in Tesla, and it looks like more upside is on the table. And even yesterday, I was live with Corey Rosenblum at the close. Uber Technologies breaking out to a new all-time high here. There are stocks making new all-time highs. There are stocks that are emerging as the leaders that are going to drive the themes of this new bull market going forward. And those are the names that are hitting new highs either on a multi-year level or at an all-time high level. So you can't ignore what's happening on that front. This morning, we had a weaker than expected inflation report. Bonds initially responded well to the news, but then they quickly resumed their sell off. I am looking for a temporary bottom here in bonds. How long it holds remains to be seen, but we're definitely seeing some pressure put on bonds from crude oil, which is now enjoying its second week of a solid rally. That being said, until crude oil can get back above 65 to 68 dollars per barrel, I am viewing this rally with a healthy dose of skepticism. That being said, it hasn't stopped me from sharing some of the best setups in the energy space with members of Theo Trade Chat. Take a look at Hallador Energy. This was actually a name that Garrett Baldwin shared with me live during a joint session we did about a month ago. And so I like the setup so much. I said, Garrett, we're going to share an idea on this. And we did. And the stock's up where we bought it, a few weeks ago. But now the stock's up almost 19% just today. It's not the only energy name that we have on the books. We also have Comstock Resources. That's up close to 5% on the day. hitting new all-time highs. So even though my bias is for bonds to find a bottom here, it's not preventing me from approaching the strongest names in the energy sector with an open mind. And that's what it comes down to, is maintaining an open mind and having lines in the sand to where once they are crossed, you have the ability to flip from bullish to bearish or bearish to bullish. We're not here to be right. It's a totally different, story on that front. So I like what's happening in these two energy names. I think they look strong. Obviously, crypto is starting to attract some attention. Bitcoin, uh, within spitting distance, a new all-time high here. Did have a short-term target in the 105, 110 level, 105,000, 110,000, that is, but also not ruling out a quick pop up to 115. I do see Bitcoin rallying as high as 150,000 in time, probably by the end of the year. But the big winner of the week has been Ethereum. Ethereum having a very, very strong Friday and Thursday, and it's continued so far. Continued so far. So making new highs here, that's a very good sign. You know, we've been taking advantage of this setup with names like MicroStrategy, Coinbase. We've capitalized on that. This stock was just added to the S&P 500. Didn't know that was going to happen, obviously, but we did own shares of this stock going into it. And so we really like what's happening on that front. It was actually a Trinity trade idea that we discussed. And on that note, I do want to make you aware of a 90-day trial membership that you can try out with the Trinity trade. If you give our sales team a call at 623-244-5657 and use code word Trinity, you can try out the service for a 90-day membership period. 623-244-5657. So good things happening on that front as well. Gold and silver, a little bit of a relief rally today. I do view this as a pretty bullish setup. We did get stopped out of a couple of precious metal mining names yesterday, some for profit, some for a loss. But overall, I do like the posturing in the space, especially with silver miners outperforming gold miners and gold spot lagging behind silver spot here. I think that's a good setup for this to continue higher. And, this is still happening even as the dollar has rallied for the most part as of late. Whether or not it continues to remain to be seen. But, a lot of this is obviously coming off the good news from the U.S. and China trade talks. The deal is not finalized, but that's okay for now. That's not going to stop us from taking on those solid risk reward opportunities. Some other tech names that have been working for us here at TheoTrade include App11. This is an idea that we showed in the chat room that's up almost 8% on the day. And of course, you also have American Superconductor, which is up over 5% on the day. So the amount of opportunities that I'm seeing now, probably at their highest level since last summer, and I don't think it's something that should be ignored. We are within a spitting distance of a new all-time high in the U.S. market. We've already seen new all-time highs across the pond in various European markets as well. And so I think that we eventually do make new all-time highs in the U.S. market near term, a little bit extended. That doesn't mean that there aren't setups that you can continue taking in this tape. There is still an element of disbelief about what's happening in this rally. I mean, when the market rallies 1,000 points in just over a month, that's going to catch some people off guard. So those that have either not participated or were caught on the short side, the latter are actually fueling this rally more to the upside. And we've talked about this before too. Every short seller today is a buyer tomorrow or at some time in the future by nature. That's the way the transaction plays out. So, between what I'm seeing play out in crypto and semiconductors and tech, I don't see a reason why this market stops rallying anytime soon, especially since we've blown through this technical resistance level at 5750, 5850, taken out this high from the 25th of March. It's a bull market, guys. And the longer that people fight that trend, the more it's going to benefit the bulls. So take advantage of this opportunity. I hope to see you in the TheoTrade chat room. That's all for now. We'll talk soon, guys. Take care.